Round Guy Radio has a brand new sponsor, and it's the Cedar Rapids Titans Arena football team, who begins action February 15th at 5 p.m. And on all games, all home games will be live on Round Guy Radio's YouTube page. We're going to start our YouTube out, and we'll have our first YouTube game tonight, the JV game anyway, over Waco and Columbus. But we've got Coach Eslick of the Sigourney Savages, but I want to mention the Packwood Locker, Hinshaw Trailer Sales, and Smithburg Auto also. Welcome to the program, Coach. Well, I think you're off to a pretty good start, if I can remember right. There was a lot of times you were on top of the scoreboard at the end of the game. Tell our listeners a little bit about your record in the first 6 games and what it is in your conference.
Yeah, we haven't played any non-conference games yet. So all of our games have been conference games so far. We're 5-1 to start the year. It's been a nice start for us. A lot of good production from a lot of different kids. Our 3 seniors that start for us, Solon Yates, John Berg, and Braden Wood have been our mainstays here early, but a lot of good contributions out of some of our younger guys too. I feel like just even here over Christmas break, Ike Molmex has really started to look more like himself, a lot more confident on his knee. Huge strides from where he was, early in the year, and so yeah, like where we're at after 6 games. Certainly would have loved to have gotten that one at Linville Sully. That was our lone loss. A game that was competitive. I mean, we had the lead in the third quarter, and they made a big run at us late third, early fourth, and that's what good teams do. And they made a run at us. We weren't able to respond, and they came out on top that night. But overall, a good start. Our league's always competitive, and it is again this year. And the nice thing is December was nice for us. We played basically every Tuesday and Friday right through those first 3 weeks of December, and didn't have any non-conference games, and we enjoyed that. But that's gonna come back to bite us here a little bit. January is gonna get really busy. I mean, we got a stretch of 4 games and 5 nights coming up here the next week, and then we got at least 3, maybe 4 games about every week. So gonna be busy. Kids been playing a lot of games. They like that. We as coaches maybe don't as much. A lot of work to do, not a lot of time to do it, but it's part of it, and we'll roll through.
Well, the only loss you got is to Linville Sully. You played very well in that game. Can you just take us quickly through some of the more highlight wins? I know you get an overtime win against Keota. That had to kind of propel you a little bit forward in the season. But in general, just kind of what were the games like?
Yeah, we started off first 2 nights like Colfax Mingo, Belle Plaine. Defensively, we played really well both those nights. Did not play very well offensively as Colfax, but did a lot better against Belle Plaine. So got to a good 2-0 start. Had the loss at Sully Tuesday, and then had to go to Keota Friday night and bounce back with, like you mentioned, a big overtime win for us. That was huge. We needed that and really dug deep in that one game that we were behind a lot of that ball game. Kind of found a way to win it in the fourth quarter in overtime, and that was a big win for us. And then we went to HLV. Thought we played really well at HLV, won comfortably there, and then came back home and played an Iowa Valley team that I think is really improving. I think they're going to have a really good second half of their year. They played really well that night against us, and we played well too, and found a way to win that one by double digits. So it was a good 5-1 start for us to the year, and now we really come out sprinting here after break.
Well, did you have a player have a really big night in this first 6 games?
We had a real good balance. I mean, John Berg and Solon Yates led us in scoring most nights. Those are, clearly our 2 leading scorers, those 2 guys. But we've gotten good contributions from a lot of guys. I thought Braden Wood played really well at Linville Sully. I thought that, like I said, Ike really got going that last kind of week before break. We had a lot of balance at HLV. I think we had 12 guys score that night. Hunter Sellers had a double-digit game against Belle Plaine. So a lot of good balance. But yeah, it definitely has been, John on the boards, Solon shooting threes, and then everyone else kind of picking up the slack. So I'm hoping we can get maybe a little bit even more balance here in this next stretch. But because teams are certainly going to start to key on Solon a little bit. I mean, he's shooting the ball really well, and the more stats you get into bound, the more people know about you, and so they're certainly going to be keying on him, and they know they got to try to take away John inside, and so it'll be up to some of our other guys to step up and contribute a little bit more offensively.
All right. Well, let me ask you about just in general, from the very beginning of the season to the last game that you played, is there an area that you guys are, vastly improved or somewhat improved? Where have you, is it passing? Is it rebounding? Is it free throw shooting? Is there some category where you feel like you're moving forward?
Yeah, I think that, I think we improved everywhere. That first week, it was kind of rough for us, and then offensively, and then I thought we improved as time went on. But one thing we've really talked about here over break, and one thing we've really been emphasizing is we got to take care of the ball. We can't turn it over, and that's one thing. We went over to Oskaloosa and scrimmaged with them and Holy Trinity, two really good teams, and didn't feel like we did a good enough job of taking care of the ball against them. But that was really good for us because those are high level teams and the teams that we're going to be playing when we get to the postseason. And if we want to try to make a deep run at a conference title or at even at the state tournament. So it was really good for us. That's something that we need to continue to improve on. Is it's just value in the basketball, and if you can get a shot every time down, you're going to give yourself a really good chance.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that scrimmage there. We always talk about the momentum. You get a 5-1 start, so you're coming out with a pretty good momentum. But when you started practicing, you had to take a break for Thanksgiving, and then you have to take a break for Christmas for a couple weeks, and you had some snow there that could have caused you a little bit of delays. How do you keep the momentum going, and how key was this scrimmage in Oskaloosa to keeping your skills up for over this long break?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly it was a challenge, and then this year was really unique for us. Is that we a lot of teams played that Monday night before Christmas break, like it was the 22nd, and we did not. And then I think a lot of teams play that first Friday back from New Year's on the second, and we do not. So we had a very extended break. The long, I've been doing this for coaching for it's my 15th year, and we have never had that long of a break. And so it was a little unique, and the way Christmas fell and the way the weekends fell, we were able to take 9 full days off, which I think was great for the kids mentally. I mean, all these kids basically are coming straight from football into basketball, and they're getting maybe a couple days off in between. And so it was nice for them to just kind of clear their heads a little bit. Physically, that's a little more of a challenge. It's easy out, it's it's hard to get in shape, but it's really easy to get out of shape. And I think that having that many days off, we've had to do a little bit of moving and running and get them back going. And that scrimmage Oski was really good for that because just kind of going live and playing live and being able to get up and down with another team was really good for our fitness. So that's probably the biggest thing, just being able to get up and down and against two quality teams and kind of get your wind back a little bit and try to be healthy and get healthy for a big stretch.
Well, so let's talk about. Well, before we talk about the stretch here, kind of, can you give me some of the statistical leaders? Who's leading in the rebounds and assists and points and those measurable statistics?
Yeah, yeah. Solon and John are both leading us in scoring. John's leading us in rebounding. He averaged a double double last year. He's a little under that. There's been a couple of games that we've that the score's kind of gotten away from the other team, and he hasn't played as many minutes. So I think that more than anything, the minutes are what slowed him down to being under double digits. But he'll probably get close to it here by the end of the season. Ike Molmax has done a nice job of leading us in assists. Landon Conrad has had a lot of nice assist game as well. And then, Brayden Wood's kind of just that guy that does a little bit of everything. He's the one that kind of, stuffs the stat sheet where, he's got, 4 or 5 here, 3 or 4 there, 6 or 7 there of everything: points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, the whole thing. So I think that's going to be key for us here after break is just kind of finding a way to have everyone contribute. If we can, there's not a lot of nights where we're going to have a 30-point scorer, but if we can have, 5 or 6, 10-point scorers, that really goes a long way. So it'll be key to spread out a little bit, but Solon certainly had some big nights for us shooting the ball, and John's had some big nights inside, and those guys will hopefully continue to do that year after break.
Well, you guys are blessed with some depth. I know you mentioned Hunter Sellers there a little bit ago, but who are some of the guys that maybe coming off the bench, keeping you guys a little fresher than the other team and making some contributions? Is there anybody in that category on your team?
Yeah, we love our bench, and that's the challenge as a coach. It's kind of what basketball. I'm a little biased because I coach it, but basketball is probably the hardest sport to coach. Getting kids time because there's only 5 guys on the court at a time.
Yeah.
I'd love to sneak a sixth or seventh guy out there because I think we've got the depth to do it, but the rest just don't let us. And that's really the challenge for us is trying to find minutes for these guys because we've got a lot of guys in our bench that are deserving of minutes that have earned it. And, but the guys in front of them that are better or that have, need to be out there a lot, that are tough to take off the court. So, Landon Fish, I think he's been phenomenal defensively for us. I thought he was huge for us in that Kyoto game. He's coming off our bench. Jordan Trumbull's a great shooter. I think he really got going a little bit there those last couple games before Christmas, got him a little confidence going. So that was huge for him. He's coming off our bench. Hunter Sellers, who we we really like inside. He's had some good games. We got to try to find some more minutes for Hunter. Same thing with Lou. We Chase Clarahan and Carson O'Rourke off our bench. So we got another senior, Ty Goldman. And then we got Kason Kerr, who's been hurt and out with an injury. And if we could, get him back, that'd be huge too. So, I think that's probably our biggest strength is our depth and just trying to find the ways. And we're going to need them because, like I said, we're playing a ton of games here after break. I mean, we've got 16 games in basically like 5 weeks. So that's, you do the math there. That's average of, over 3 games a week. So we're going to need everyone we got, and we hope we can stay healthy and hope we can get a lot of time for all these guys because we got a lot of guys who deserve to be out there.
Well, let's talk a little bit about just what games you got coming up.
Yeah, we got a really big week for us out of break. A huge week. We start with EV on Tuesday night at our place. I think they've been the biggest surprise in our league as far as the positive goes. They've got 2 conference losses. They've lost to Montezuma and Linville Sully, who are probably the 2 top teams in our league right now. So no shame in either of those losses for sure. And they've had a lot of good wins. They went to Iowa Valley and won first night of the year. Went to BGM and won. So really impressed with what they've done. They've been really good. So that's going to be a really challenging first game for us right out of the gate. And then Friday night we go to Montezuma, who I mentioned. They're undefeated in the conference right now and are a really, really good team. Got one of the best players in all of Class 1A in Brady Bolton. And he's going to be really tough to slow down. And then Saturday afternoon, we go to Deacon to play a team that beat Montezuma. And so we know how good they are as well. And so that first week, that's 3 really tough games and 2 of them on the road. So, we've been talking all break about, how important these practices are for our kids because we know that, we're going to have a gauntlet of a stretch coming up right out of break. And then that following Monday, Tuesday, we have games as well. Like we have Highland and BGM, boom, boom, right away. So, 4 games in 5 days plus the Tuesday game at home with EV. And we are excited for the challenge, but it certainly is going to be a big one for us.
Well, I guess you'll have to rest now because we know rest when it goes back. So what time is that Pekin game on? And is there a JV with that?
Yeah, I believe the plan right now is girls game starts at 2. The JV will play in their second gym at the same time, and then varsity will follow in the big gym approximately 3:30, I think, on the next Saturday, the 10th.
Well, we will pencil that down for your debut performance on Round Guy Radio this year. So thank you so much for taking a little time with us, Coach. Is there anything? Oh, I one more question here, and I've asked all the coaches this, and I've got a different answer almost every time. But at your Christmas dinner, what was your favorite main course thing and your favorite dessert?
Oh, it's a good question. It's have to say my mom's cheesy potatoes probably were number 1, the main course, and then dessert. Oof, probably these chocolate caramel bars that my mom makes. So I have to give her. She sent some home, so we got some in the freezer to fight Vivian for them. But try to get a couple of them away from her and have a couple. So yeah, it's a good question. But yeah, it was a good week of eating and now getting back into the routine here.
I've never not liked the coach's answer to that question. All right. Well, thanks for being with us. I hope you had a Merry Christmas. I hope you had it as healthy and as prosperous a year as Round Guy Radio did. And 2026 is going to be, we're just going to be able to provide so much entertainment, including this new arena football season. I don't think anyone's ever had a YouTube live professional minor league season available to everybody in the state, each home game. So I'm really looking forward to breaking that ground. But we're certainly looking forward to next Saturday a week from Saturday when you and Pekin tangle.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks, and we hope to see you there and looking forward to it.
All right.